Okay, in our video series of rheumatology lectures, in this video, we are going to start talking about vasculitides. We are going to talk about important vasculitis like giant cell arteritis, Takayasu arteritis, Kawasaki's disease, and many other important ones that you need to know for your exams. First of all, what is vasculitis? Vasculitis is basically an autoimmune disorder which is characterized by vessel inflammation. Immune system attacks the vessels and causes inflammation and fibrosis of the vessels. Now this is a picture showing normal healthy blood vessel, and over here slowly and gradually vasculitis would cause inflammation, fibrosis and thickening of the vessel walls. That is what is seen in vasculitis, which results in decreased blood flow, and all the symptoms are due to this decreased blood flow. Now, vasculitis is divided into large vessel vasculitis, medium vessel vasculitis, and small vessel vasculitis. The large vessel vasculitis mainly includes giant cell arteritis and Takayasu arteritis. In this video, we are going to talk about giant cell arteritis. In the subsequent videos, we'll be discussing all important medium vessel vasculitis, Takayasu arteritis, and small vessel vasculitis. Now, first of all, coming to giant cell arteritis, we have a case here. 82-year-old lady comes to your clinic complaining of pain in the right temple region. The patient tells you that, doctor, I have been experiencing severe pain in the right temple region. When I touch this area, it's very painful. I have been also experiencing that when I chew food, it causes pain over my jaw region. Doctor, I also have been experiencing blurring of my vision in the right eye. When you do examination of the patient, you feel that there is a cord-like thing present in the temple region, a thickened vessel. When you do ESR of the patient, you find out that the ESR is highly elevated. ESR is 92. Now, this is a classical presentation of giant cell arteritis. What is giant cell arteritis? Does it present? How do you diagnose it? Today, we are going to talk about that. Giant cell arteritis is a chronic granulomatous vasculitis that primarily affects medium and large size arteries, especially the branches of the carotid arteries. Therefore, it affects the eyes, it affects the temple region because these are the branches of the carotid arteries. It affects females much more than males, and the median age that it affects is 70 to 79 years of age. So very old females are the most common patients of giant cell arteritis. The causes are unknown, but it has been shown that there is a genetic predisposition in patients who are having HLA-DR4, and it is strongly associated with polymyalgia rheumatica. It's a very high yield point, very important point. Patients of giant cell arteritis, 50% of the cases have polymyalgia rheumatica associated with it. I have a separate video on polymyalgia rheumatica as well, and in that video I also stressed on this point that you must remember the strong association of giant cell arteritis with polymyalgia rheumatica. There are certain important associations that you must know. Inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis is associated with primary sclerosing cholangitis. In the similar manner, giant cell arteritis is associated with polymyalgia rheumatica. Now, coming to the clinical presentation of giant cell arteritis patients will come to you with a new onset headache. These very old patients did not have headaches like these before, and they tell you that, doctor, this was not the type of headache that I used to have. This is a different headache. This headache is over the temple region, and when you palpate the temple region, you will feel that this area is tender. The patient will experience pain when you touch it. And in some patients, you may be able to find hardened and tender temporal artery. You may feel like cord-like thing over here. That is the tender artery. The patients will be experiencing jaw claudication. This is because when they start chewing, many of these muscles are supplied by these arteries, and when these arteries are inflamed and these arteries are having vasculitis, these patients will experience jaw claudication. And the most dreadful complication of giant cell arteritis is vision loss. If ever in exams they ask you about the most important and dreadful complication of giant cell arteritis, always choose vision loss, because this is the thing that should scare you the most. Any patient in which you suspect giant cell arteritis, vision loss is the biggest complication because it involves the branches of carotid arteries, and those branches of carotid arteries include ophthalmic artery, and when it affects the ophthalmic artery, these patients might come to you with blurring of vision. Immediately start steroids in these patients without any wait for investigations. Immediately give steroids to treat it and stop the visual loss. This patient might present to you with diplopia as well. Now this is a picture showing thick and tender artery over the temple region. Now remember, you might not be always able to find this classical presentation. Patient might just come to you with a simple temple headache. So you always rule out giant cell arteritis in old patient coming to you with a new onset unique headache. Since giant cell arteritis can involve the large arteries, it can also result in angina pectoris when it involves the coronary arteries, acute coronary syndrome. It can also cause limb claudication, aortic dissection. Now coming to the diagnosis. Remember, diagnosis of giant cell arteritis is mainly clinical diagnosis. And whenever you suspect that a patient has giant cell arteritis, it's very important that you initiate high dose glucocorticoid immediately without waiting for any investigations. This is because if you do not initiate high dose glucocorticoid in these patients are at risk of visual loss. Within hours, these patients might be losing their vision, and high dose glucocorticoids can prevent that. Therefore, if you suspect that an old lady has come to you with a headache over the temples and that there is a tender temple, that patient has never experienced a headache like this before, and you suspect this is giant cell arteritis, start high dose glucocorticoid in that patient, because there is no harm in doing that. But if you miss a giant cell arteritis headache and the patient loses the vision and you have not given high glucose corticoids, then the consequences for you will be very bad. Therefore, do not wait for workup and initiate high dose glucocorticoids. I cannot stress on this point enough. This is a very high yield point. In the workup, what you do is that you send initial investigation ESR. In exams, if they ask you about initial investigation, ESR. But in exam, if they give you the option that you suspect giant cell arteritis, what should be the next step? ESR, high dose glucocorticoids. Always choose high dose glucocorticoids. After that, you go for ESR. You do ESR and ESR will be elevated above 50 in these patients. The confirmatory test for giant cell arteritis is temporal artery biopsy. You take a sample, a piece of temporal artery, and you look it under the microscope. You do the histopathology and you find out inflammation of the vessel. Temporal artery biopsy is usually taken greater than 1 centimeter, because sometimes there can be a skip lesion where a certain part of the vessel is affected and a certain part is not. Therefore, if a temporal artery biopsy comes out to be negative, it does not rule out the diagnosis. Even if ESR is normal, it does not rule out the diagnosis that a patient is having giant cell arteritis. So technically, it's mainly the clinical suspicion that you can have in some patients. You can confirm it by temporal artery biopsy, but if the temporal artery biopsy is negative, if you are suspecting that it is giant cell arteritis, it is giant cell arteritis then. Skip lesions can be there where the biopsy can be negative, but the patient still has giant cell arteritis. Now, duplex ultrasonography is another investigation that is done in these patients, and European societies usually prefer going for duplex ultrasound before temporal artery biopsy, but in USA, it's still the temporal artery biopsy that is the main confirmatory line for the diagnosis of giant cell arteritis. So in exams, you must always choose temporal artery biopsy as the right answer. But remember, in real life, temporal artery biopsy, duplex ultrasound, ESR, everything is done together to get the evidence that this patient is having giant cell arteritis. When they do duplex ultrasonography of this artery will be non-compressible. Normally, the arteries are compressible during the duplex ultrasound. In only 2 cases, the artery can be non-compressible. Either there is inflammation, just like in giant cell arteritis, or there is any occlusion like in DVT. So the artery will be inflamed, therefore the artery will be non-compressible on duplex ultrasound. So first step, high dose glucocorticoids, then ESR, then you go for temporal artery biopsy. Now American College of Rheumatology has this clinical criteria to diagnose a patient with giant cell arteritis, and if the sum of scores for 10 items if present and the score is greater than 6 points, then that strongly indicates that the patient has giant cell arteritis. Age must be greater than 50 at the time of diagnosis. It's a thing of old patients. Morning stiffness, sudden visual loss, jaw or tongue claudication, new temporal headache, scalp tenderness, abdominal examination of the artery, maximum ESR greater than 50, maximum CRP, positive temporal artery biopsy, bilateral axillary involvement, PET scan showing activity throughout the aorta. So these are certain points that you can add up if you find in a patient and you make the diagnosis of giant cell arteritis. Now coming to the treatment of giant cell arteritis, by this time you already know what's the treatment. It's the steroids. You have to give glucocorticoid therapy. You have to induce the remission because at that time the patient has come to you with a flare. You have to bombard that patient with high dose glucocorticoids to reduce the flare, and then you start the maintenance therapy, and that maintenance therapy controls the baseline disease. Now, in the induction therapy, if the patient is having any ischemic organ damage, like if the patient comes to you with blurring of vision, it means that there is ongoing ischemia in the eye. In that case, you have to give IV glucocorticoids. You have to give high dose IV glucocorticoids, 500 to 1000 milligram of methylprednisolone, IV once daily for 3 to 5 days. So you are giving IV high dose methylprednisolone, a potent steroid, to induce remission in these patients if there is an ongoing ischemia of the organ. Now, if there are no ischemic symptoms, if it is just the headache, if there is no chest pain, no blurring of vision, in that case, you can give oral prednisone. Oral prednisone 1 mg per kg with a maximum dose of 80 mg per day is given. Then once you have induced the remission, then you can shift the patient to the maintenance dose that maintains or controls the baseline disease. You taper to the lowest possible doses of steroids, and in some patients you can go shift the patient from steroids to other immunosuppressants so that the patient does not have side effects of steroids, but usually patients are maintained at a low dose of steroid. Complications. The most important and dreadful complication is permanent vision loss, cerebral ischemia, aortic aneurysm, aortic dissection, because it involves the large arteries. And when it involves the large arteries, it causes damage to the arteries. I have a full video on aortic dissection. You can check out that video on my YouTube channel. Before going into the summary, if you like my video, please click on the subscribe button and make sure to check out my other lectures on neurology, ECG lectures, rheumatology lectures. The link of those videos are given in the description below. We talked about what is vasculitis, inflammation of the vessel, large vessel vasculitis, mainly giant cell arteritis. It involves branches of large carotid artery. Very old female would be the common patient associated with polymyalgia rheumatica. Headache involves the temples. It can involve the large arteries resulting in angina pectoris. Suspect giant cell arteritis, immediately give steroid. Don't wait for any workup. Confirmatory test, temporal artery biopsy, initial test, ESR. Glucocorticoid induction therapy. If there is ongoing ischemia, give high dose methylpred. If there are no ischemic symptoms, then give oral prednisone. Then shift the patient to maintenance dose of steroids. The complications, permanent vision loss being the most important complication. So this was all. If you like my video, please make sure to click the subscribe button. Thank you very much.